woke up this morning, said fuck this broke shit, I gotta get me some pay. Am I proud to fucking bed to ask any of my niggas for any favor? I'm about time to stand down, and I'm on parole, so I ain't trying to go back to case. I ain't with them 9 to 5, calling people boss, putting on no kids to ace. So I'm paying down to make it, and they say I'm fucked up, cause it ain't no need to fake. I'm tired of being basic. These penitentiary chances, so I gotta take it. The police, they try to chase it. The judge try to find me, man, the court I never play. Tussle, I'm a naked. Cause when they grill me with my here, I always feel the hate praying that I make it. I know niggas want my life and do anything to take it. Gotta walk my dog and take that motherfucker place that they shouldn't even take it. Will never write a statement.
What's up, Dream? What's up, Moon Spirit?
Give me my jumper.
You already know what the deal is.
I was born to be a boss, and so was Lord Chris. R.I.P. the boss. My niggas doing third.
Gonna be a pretty tough day. Gonna be a pretty tough day today. Gonna be pretty tough.
I'ma keep on saying shit until they free my dog.
Y'all see what I'm talking about. What's up, Trust, though? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal?
So he was well, he put on a good performance. Y'all playing for a court. Me and my
already
niggas
know.
be living in the books. So when OG got a pound, come in the house it's like a nigga little force. When they say a man a nigga, I forever match with it. You can't forget the more. Praying that I make. Praying that I make.
Alright, let me turn this down. Let me get started. It's a lot of fucking bumps. Alright, hopefully everybody is good. Y'all already know who it is. I'm asharenu. We back in here for another day with the motherfucking shits. With that bullshit, you already know we're gonna keep it 100 all day, every day, regardless of who or what. You already know, right? Just make sure. Let me turn it down. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So once again, we're back in here. We're 24 hours in a fast. For those who don't know, we're 24 hours in. So all I got is my tea, jug of water. That's it. So we about to go hard for at least a week. A week minimum. No solid foods. You know what I mean? Build the energy up, cleanse the body, you know, do all that good stuff, open up the spiritual channels, psychic centers, all the stuff I be talking about, right? So as we approach, you know, the dark side of the year, all right? Once we go into this fall season, once we go into the dark side, once we go into those veils, move those veils of fall and winter time, you know, especially around the winter solstice, when the energy is the darkest. But again, just throwing some things out there, you know, because, of course, yeah, let me turn this off. We just need it for the intro music. I don't want no distractions, right? Again, we're not going to take up too much time. I know I say that every video, and they end up being hours long. But, you know, I just want to hit on a couple points. And again, feel free to ask any questions, even if it's related to what I'm saying or not. But we're going to keep it moving regardless. So I just, you know, I just want to talk about what it means to be real. What it means to be real. Because there's two types of real. You got R-E-A-L, you got R-E-E-L. It's two types of real, or real, right? Is it real because you may be from a certain area, right? Or because you may have done certain things? What makes a person real? Because most of the time, when we think about realness, especially when it comes to hip-hop, normally what's associated with realness is violence, you know, street activity, so on and so forth. However, that is a part of the game. But the game itself, in its purity, can only be done or only be experienced from someone who is real. So for example, what do I mean by that? For example, when I play the music that I play, do you just hear words? Do you just hear sounds? Or do you feel something when the music is being played? When I be playing that chopped and screwed shit, are you just vibing out? or are you feeling what is being projected to you? This is the reason why I implement music in my videos. This is also why I no longer monetize my videos, because I want to put music in my videos, and if you put music in your videos, you're not going to be able to monetize. Therefore, fuck the monetization. I don't need it. Again, this is why we all strive to build up our own so that we don't have to depend on these platforms such as YouTube and social media, so on and so forth, right? So I'm just putting a thought in people's head, because I know there's a lot of business-minded people here, a lot of spiritually-minded people here, and sometimes those things overlap. Nothing wrong with that. So I definitely encourage anybody, do not get comfortable with your YouTube channel. Do not get comfortable with your social media accounts, because again, we already know how the system works. You don't want your whole livelihood to be dependent upon a platform that can be taken away from you because you are not the one that built it. You are using a platform, but you are subjected to the rules of the platform, and if for whatever reason they feel you're in violation, you will be gone with no reason. You know, we see this all the time, right? People's YouTube channels disappearing, you know, Instagrams are getting deleted, Facebook accounts, people are locked out of their Facebook, so on and so forth, right? We know that all these things are possible, so I encourage everybody to build your own, something that no one else can take from you, regardless of what's going on, because it's going to always be yours, versus a situation where your whole livelihood is based on something not yours. Your whole livelihood being based on something that's not yours puts you in a bad situation, you know, for obvious reasons. So getting back to the point, what does it mean to be real? In my opinion, to be real is to be a builder. We can just look at all of the master numbers. The 11, the 22, and the 33. And if we take it to Vedic astrology, they also have the master number 44, which is not really spoke about. It's not as popular in the Western hemisphere versus the Eastern hemisphere. So you also have master number 44 for those who may not be into that. We know that the 11 is the number of the master healer, 22, the master builder, 33, the master teacher. And I would do a whole separate video about 44 for those who may not be in tune with that frequency. So we'll just deal with the basics for now. The 11, the 22, and the 33. To be real is to embody the principles of the 11, the 22, and the 33. To not only be inspired to heal yourself, because that is the first step, to be real. To be real. That means you are taking your own life into your hands. You're not dependent on a doctor. You're not dependent on any outside resource specifically. You're not dependent on anything but self. Your soul force. That is the only thing that will remain consistent. So you have to regulate your soul force, because that's truly the only thing that we have. If you detach yourself from your soul force in terms of not acknowledge it because you're trying to be something that you're not, which a lot of people feel like they're forced to be something that they're not just to get a paycheck. So you can't really tap into it, right? Or if you do tap into it, you're kind of already drained. Nonetheless, to be real, not only are you the master teacher, meaning you are willing to go into the depths of darkness and chaos and destruction and come back. I spoke about this in yesterday's video, the master number 11, but for those who didn't see it, that's why I'm reiterating it here. The master healer, or the inspired healer, goes to the depths of darkness, chaos, madness, and come back with spiritual insight that can not only heal themselves, but others as well. But the master healer understands that I need to go through strife, struggle, and things that may permanently change my consciousness. I need to subject myself to be purified through the flames, through the madness, through the chaos. So you utilize darkness, you utilize chaos, you utilize madness as a tool for your evolution instead of a tool for your destruction. Right? To be real, you are turning a destructive environment into a constructive environment for yourself to elevate. This is not to say that you're going to save everybody in their situations, because we are only responsible for ourselves. Again, we can't force nobody to do anything that they don't want to do. So we're not necessarily focused on what everybody else is doing, what everybody else think. We have to start with self. And once we go through those fires and we come back purified, we don't really have to describe or tell anybody anything, because it can be seen. In other words, to be the master healer, that means your healing abilities can be seen, felt, experienced, not only by yourself, but from others. So you really don't have to convince anybody of anything, because your work will show for itself. And those who are curious and your results will then come to you and ask the questions or ask for services, so on and so forth. This is why the first house, when we deal with astrology, the first house is a house of Aries, which is all about self-identification. The house of self, to build up your self-image. That is the first house. Not your money, not your friends, not your family, not your possessions, not your enemies, not your connections, not your relationships, not your career path, not your spirituality, not the level you are on mentally, not your physical physique, not your humanitarianism, and not by your imagination. The very first thing that needs to be established is self-identity, right? You need to establish who and what you are. How do you do that? Purifying yourself through the fire. You need to go through something in order for people to respect you as somebody who is knowledgeable, somebody who is wise. You don't necessarily consider somebody wise who has not experienced what you need to experience to receive wisdom. You don't just receive wisdom without going through some type of discomfort, right? So the very first thing is self-identification, because if that is not solid, don't matter how much you have in your bank account, it don't matter how good of a communicator you are or how brilliant of a thinker you are, it does not matter how well you can design your home, and so on and so forth. We ain't got to go through all the houses, but you get my point. Nothing else will matter. Your creativity, nothing will matter if your self-identification is flawed. So everything you do after that, that is your source. Your foundation is your self-identification. And if that is not set in stone, if that is not grounded, if that is not solid, that means it is movable. So while you out here trying to get your money up, while you out here seeking and searching for relationships, while you out here just doing whatever the fuck you do, if your level of self-identification is not solid and grounded, you will be moved and shift to whatever is going on around you. Let's go to the number 22, which is the master builder. So once you have established a sense of self, self-identification, because you have gone through something, you have received wisdom that makes you wise. So give me 1 second here. So the wisdom makes you wise, right? So what happens? Master number 22, the master builder. Once you have identified yourself and you have solidified who and what you are, who you want to be, who you are, whatever, Now you can build something solid because your foundation is solid. You can't build on top of a moving surface. Try it. Try to build a house on the ground that's unleveled. It's not going to work, right? You need to level the playing field before you start building upward. So you have to level the playing field, which is knowing who you are. You have to level your foundation. Then you build on top of it because now it is grounded in actual fact. It is solidified in matter. So everything that you build, now you're pulling from an internal source instead of looking on the outside for fulfillment. Everything is being pulled from your soul force. Your solar flare is what gives you the ability to do all things. So in order to be the master builder, to understand how to alternate and shape and mold earth or matter, sound into matter, that is a master builder. So not only a person that can organize bricks and build things, but a person who is utilizing sound and turning that sound into matter, because that is the process of creation. The master builder understands the process of creation from sound to matter. So the master builder is the master of the earth element, understands everything about sound and everything about matter and everything in between. That is the true master builder, the master of the earth, that Ptah energy. For those in the Facebook group, you already know about Ptah. Broke that all the way down, right? The master builder, the energy of Saturn. Now, we get to the level of the 33, the master teacher. When we get to the level of the master teacher, what happens is, now that we have been through something with the master number 11, and now that we have built something on a solid foundation with the master number 22, now we are in the environment that we have created for ourselves, and now we can speak truth because we have created an environment that allows us to do that. Because you're not going to go inside nobody else's organization spitting what you want to spit. In order for you to speak your truth, you must establish a temple. You must understand how to manipulate physical matter so that you can establish your temple and live the life that you choose. Because if you go under anybody else's umbrella, you will be subjected to their rules and regulations. But as the master builder, as the master healer, as a master teacher, you understand that you need to have your own and create your own rules and regulations, your own system, your own lifestyle, your own way of being. It must come from you. And that is what makes you the master teacher, because you have perfected your culture. What do I mean? The master teacher, as we said, having already been through hell and back and has built some type of solid foundation based off of their actual experience, that is what gives them the ability to speak and to be considered a master teacher, because a master has went through hell, came back, survived it, and was able to establish some type of way of thinking, some type of philosophy, some type of meaning hidden in the depths of what we consider life, what we call life, those secret, esoteric, occult messages and meanings of life, which can only be found and experienced by actually going through something. You have to go out and go through something in order for life to give you that energy back that you're projecting. In other words, it's a difference between staying in a house all day and being outside all day. I always tell people, when is the last time you've been outside for a full 24 hours? Probably never. Probably never. Like outside a full 24 hours. Probably never happened. But we wonder why there's so much disconnection. We wonder why so many people are disconnected. We wonder why, because we don't see people going through this process. Why? Because you're not learning this in school. So this is not to place the blame on those who are ignorant because they just don't know any better. Nonetheless, just like I spoke about yesterday, even in our ignorance, we are still magicians. So the ignorance is not used as an excuse, because you still see people out here doing very magical things, even if they have no knowledge of themselves. But the consistency is not there. So this is what I mean. For example, let's just use the entertainment industry. You may have an entertainer who, let's just say, becomes very successful, but they have no knowledge of self. They just so happen to be a very talented and creative individual. So they are able to express themselves creatively. However, their level of self-identification is not solid. So based on what that record label says, what that entertainment agency says, they're just going along with what they're told. So their foundation is constantly like this. Then we wonder why we see so much madness in the entertainment industry, because a solid foundation is not established, or if it was established, it was allowed to be manipulated. It's a difference between, let's just say, being in the hood surrounded by 10 people who share the same philosophy. So these 10 people are willing to do anything to raise above their current situation, versus now, let's just say now you are in a different circle. Now you're in an entertainment circle. So now your 10 people are pretty much people that's already successful. So now you look at these people as your mentors, as your teachers, because you're like, oh, I need to surround myself with successful people. So now that you're in the industry of successful people and you are surrounded by successful people, you feel like you have to adapt to their way of life. You feel like you have to play their game. You feel like you have to do what they tell you to do because they're the ones cutting you your check. And if they stop cutting those checks, then you're going to be right back on the block. So it's very easy for somebody's self-identification to be manipulated when they have fear in their heart if they don't comply to the rules and regulations of the game, that they're going to find themselves right back in the streets. So who wants to go back to the streets once you are famous? See, this is the thing. Everybody is chasing fame. But fame is the worst thing if you don't have the financial assistance. For example, a famous person, or a person that was once famous. I think this has been happening recently. I think it was what was it? It was some guy that used to be on the Bill Cosby show, and they found him at Trader Joe's. For those who know, they know what I'm talking about. Somebody took a picture. I think the dude that played Elvin on the Cosby show, somebody snapped a photo of him because he worked at Trader Joe's, and he had to quit his job because it was bringing too much attention. So I give that example of fame does not always propel you to levels that you may think. It can actually come back on you. In other words, it can come back on you and make your life kind of miserable. So for example, let's just say you were successful. You may have been on TV shows. You may have been a person that sold a lot of records, whatever, but your time is gone and past. The money is spent up. Now, you pretty much got to work like everybody else work, although you have been in those famous circles. Now, everybody around you is looking like, yo, you were supposed to utilize your opportunity and to make something of yourself. So they see you like, oh, you're a famous person that fucked their money up. That's how people start viewing you, like, yo, you're not supposed to be here with us. When you had ample opportunity to not be here, why are you still here with us? And just, with the general public, you're supposed to be somewhere out in Hollywood in the hidden hills, amongst other people. But if you come back, you a famous person who didn't, you can say, blow up the way people thought. Now you're just a famous person with regular money. Because now you got to do regular stuff again because it didn't pop off. So that fame, everybody's going to remember you from being on TV, being on the music videos, being on the YouTube, doing all these numbers, Spotify, whatever, right? Netflix and all that. People gonna remember you from that. So when they see you working, doing regular stuff, it confuses people, and it also makes them look at you as lower than just a regular person working a regular job. See, a regular employee at Trader Joe's, we're just using Trader Joe's because that's the example. They don't have nothing to worry about. But let a person be famous once upon a time, every single day they will be tormented because everybody's going to be coming up trying to snap photos, trying to, the public is very disrespectful, as we know. You're dealing with cattle. You're not dealing with people who have professionalism about themselves. Motherfuckers, when you at work, motherfuckers like, yeah, can I take a photo? Like, you don't see me at work. I'm not supposed to do that. You're not even, I'm supposed to ring you up. I'm a cashier. Give me your fucking items and get the fuck out of here. Don't ask me for no picture. However, if you are a person that used to be famous, then you will be tormented because of that. People start looking at you like some type of fucking clown. So this is when fame comes back at you, when people feel like you didn't do what you were supposed to do, not necessarily knowing your situation. They may not know your situation. You may not have made as much money as people thought you did, but nonetheless, people still are going to remember you. See, this is the other side of fame that, a lot of people had to be faced with. So been a lot of people who was famous, then these motherfuckers are working at the car wash. These motherfuckers are working at regular places. Nothing wrong with it. So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with doing what you must do to keep a roof over your head. Nonetheless, that doesn't stop people from tormenting you because of what their narrow-mindedness believes. All right? So again, I'm just throwing out some things. Let me see if there's any questions. I think I shout out everybody. Yeah. What's up, Rob? What's up, Michael? What's up, Dream Love? Of course, Moon Spirit, you already know. Trust Self G Star. What's up, Stony? What's up, Curtis? What's up, Nisi? Let's see, I think I get what's up, Soft Fire? What's up, Raw Light? Let me see, make sure I get everybody. Okay. What's up, Jay Flower? What's up, Marvin and Magi? I mean, you already know. Michael was asking, so what is the Soul Force? Go back and watch my videos on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Or watch my video on the dynamics of the soul. These videos, you don't have to go too far back, but watch my videos I did on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, as well as the dynamics of the soul, if you want to know what the Soul Force is. So we already covered that, and it's really a vast thing. So it ain't really something I want to just touch on real quick. You got to definitely dedicate some time to exploring the depths of the soul. What's up, O'Shea? What's up, Michael wants to talk? Wilson? You already know. So once again, we just making it clear. What does it mean to be real? To embody the 11, the 22, and the 33. And we're going to speak about the 44 in another video because it's just not as popular, but that is another level, Nonetheless, that'll be like a level of, once you have became the master teacher, now you can say that's when the fame is added to it. Now you are a famed master teacher. But again, we're not gonna go too far into the 44 until we do a thorough video about it. All right, what's up, Phoenix Rising? Michael was asking, any suggestions on how to know yourself, getting to know yourself? What you can do is work with the energy of Aries, the first house. All right, the energy of Aries, or the zodiac Aries. What do I mean by work with Aries? What do I mean? You can have images of rams around you. Put the image of the Aries or a ram around you, or you can just put the horns, the spiral horns, right? Do I got any? I may need to pull out. I may need to pull out the tarot. So y'all asking me these questions. Nonetheless, the first house or Aries. So whenever you're dealing with the Ram or Aries or the first house, it's all about self. This is the house of self. So Aries, or you can get with an Aries. I know you know an Aries. Everybody should know an Aries, even if you're not close to this person, because you probably don't like this motherfucker. This motherfucker may be arrogant. They may be full of themselves. They're very about self. I know that all the Aries that I've known, you know, take their looks very seriously. You know, so there's levels to it. So there's the Aries that may try to perfect their physical shells, not knowing necessarily who they are on the inside. So you have that dynamic, but you also have the internal dynamic. Why? Because Aries is ruled by Mars, which also rules Scorpio. And again, this is based on Hermeticism, you know, so this isn't including Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. So Mars being the house of, not Mars being a house, but Mars ruling over Aries, which is the first house, as well as Scorpio, which is the 8th house. So the first house is about self. The 8th house is about mysticism, or the internal self, right? The mystics of you, who you are on a spiritual level. So work with the energy of Mars, or the number 9 that I've been speaking about, you know, definitely for the whole month of September. You can work with the energy of the number 9, which taps you into Aries or Scorpio. So work with 999 for all my numerology heads out there. The number 999 will tap you to the energy of Mars, or the first house and the 8th house, the house of self, as well as the house of mysticism. The warrior on the battlefield, as well as the ninja who's killing one by one, the silent assassin, right? You know, just to put things into context. So that's a suggestion. Work with the energy of Aries. Put images of Aries up. Just study the first house. Study Aries. You know, bring more Aries and Scorpios into your life. We all know these people, right? Bring them closer. It ain't about liking these people. It's about studying them. Study those. So this is how you navigate with ignorant people, because a lot of spiritual people try to distance themselves from ignorant people. Like, that the energy just brings me down, not realizing that you are supposed to study these beings for their spiritual attributes. For example, it may be an Aries that is not spiritual whatsoever, but they are still true to what it means to be an Aries. So you can still use them as, you know, not use them, but to study them for their principles that they embody. Just being in Aries, they embody principles. Even if they have no knowledge of that, they still embody the principles. So even somebody who is ignorant, you can still study them and gain spiritual insight. That's what it means, because in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, Thoth says, interact with the wise as well as the ignorant. Make love the beginning and ending of your heart. Never have hate in your heart. Never feel like you are better or lesser than anyone. If there are people that are wiser than you, listen to them. If there are people who are not as wise as you, teach them. Anyway, you know, basics. All right. What are your thoughts on sexual transmutation and semen retention for manifestation? It all depends on what you think. What do I mean? There are people who feel that if you retain your semen, if you stop having orgasms, not orgasms, but ejaculations, because the orgasm and ejaculation is not the same. The orgasm is the feeling that we feel. The ejaculation is the, you know, the semen exiting out of the penis. You can have an orgasm without ejecting or ejaculating. You can feel those sensations without actually having to release sperm. Anyway, what I'm saying is, there are people who feel if they retain their semen that it makes them more powerful. Why? Because they're not releasing their seed, right? They're retaining their seed, so it makes them more powerful, right? Now, the basis of that thinking is correct, but, you know, in time, all things get diluted. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is, you know, people, they have all these movements. They have movements like no flap, you know, no porn, stop watching porn, stop jacking your dick, stop rubbing your pussy. You know, it's like, to me, personally, we have to understand that all these people who say these things are not occultists. Let's be clear. All these no flap, stop masturbating, stop jacking your dick, stop fucking people outside of, these are not occultists who's telling you these things to do. These people don't study the occult. These are just people who study the physical phenomena of life. These are not people who know secrets. Because if you truly knew the secrets, you would not be speaking these things. However, everyone, not everyone, but because we live in a capitalistic society, everybody is trying to package up something and sell it. Because that's the society we live in. So they're going to package up and sell you no flap. They're going to package it up and sell, don't do this, don't do that, you need to retain your semen. But they're not telling you the full story. It takes more than just what you do physically. Just like me, I'll use myself as an example. I'm on a fast, no solid foods for a week. But if for 1 minute that I think that I have done enough, just because I fasted or just because I may have changed my diet and I don't have to still put in work on a daily basis, then I only do myself an injustice, thinking that just because, let's just say I am retaining my semen, that is going to do all the work for me. So this is where I'm getting at. Whether you retain your semen or not, you still have to put in work. And that work that you still have to put in is going to determine your success or failure, versus whether you retain your semen or not. That's not going to determine success or failure. The work, the spiritual work, and the soulful work that you put in will determine success or failure versus what you are doing physically. That is one step. Mastery over the physical plane or your temple is one level, but it is not the only level. It is deeper realms to that, especially when you start studying the occult. So I just want to make that clear. So all the people who's talking about all this stuff, all this esoteric mysticism, they're not occultists. So they're not going to tell you the full story. They're going to package some shit up and try to sell it to you. It just is what it is. Remember, we respect the business. It is what it is. We're not in heaven. You know what I mean? So even though people are doing wicked shit, it is what it is. You know what I mean? We are forced to be fucking savages. So why are you trying to embrace anything else? I know that would be taken out of context. Let me clear that up. I'm not telling anybody to mislead or to lie just to sell something, just to pay your bills. Because some people do. Some people literally, their whole life is built off lies. Their whole life, their whole livelihood is built off of lies. There are people, a lot of people, whose whole livelihood is just based off of deception and lies. And this is what I'm saying. To be real, you don't have to lie and you don't have to deceive. If you are real, you don't have to, what are you lying to anybody about? You just speak truth and you just be truth. When you speak and be truth, there is no need to deceive just to pay your fucking rent. To me, that's just the lowest shit ever. You gotta be other than yourself just to pay your rent. To me, that's low level. Like, oh, I gotta feed my kids by any means necessary. All right, so that means you rob your neighbor to feed your kids, take food out of their kids' mouth just to feed yours. Is that the mentality that we're trying to program ourselves? Or do we realize that everything emanates from the soul force? Everything has to come from the inside and manifest it outward, versus we need to go around extracting resources from people. Anyway, as y'all know, we can go all over the place with this. All right, Raw Light. I know this isn't a question, but just a comment on it. So his wife isn't awake yet. She's going through what is it? Vertigo? And get a ringing in her ears. Well, she just thinks she's not awake. So this is what I mean. Like, who the fuck made a decision about who's awake and who's not? Well, just because you know African history or Egyptian history or Native American history, Indian, Aboriginal, original. What does it mean to be awoke? To me, to be woke is to know yourself. Don't mean that you know you are a historian or you are somebody who can predict the future. To be real is to know yourself, right? So anybody who knows themselves regardless of how good or bad they may be. They're already winning. Raleigh, I think you skipped my comment about bloodlines. Yeah, I didn't see any comment about bloodlines. Hold on. I don't know what you're talking about, Raleigh. I don't see anything about a bloodline. Just type the question again. I don't see it. All right. But in the meantime, just making sure I got everything. What's up, 305 Capricorn? 305 Capricorn is on a 3-day fast. Well, not a 3-day fast, but day 3 of their fast. Salute to you. You know what I mean? Because you already know. This is definitely way deeper than, you know, just cleansing the body. You know what I mean? This is a spiritual act. This raises your vibrations. You know, your whole life changes when you fast, which is why a majority of people don't. It's too much of a change too quickly for the average person to be able to maintain that. This is truly why people don't fast, because it ain't really about the health. You can say your fasting is healthy, and you can prove that. That's a proven fact. But we know that people are emotional. People don't give a fuck about what's factual or not, because humans are emotional beings. They just care more about how they feel within themselves, which I'm not even mad at, because facts should not define reality based on just the things that we can see physically. Your emotions do matter. Your intuition does matter. So for people who are like, yo, just because it's a fact don't mean that I need to implement it in my life, I can actually understand that perspective. I can understand that perspective. All right. But definitely raw light, you know, I definitely encourage, you know, your significant other, you know what I mean? Since you are the source of her light, then, you know, you gotta put that game in her head to help her awaken. You know what I mean? Like, when you are the source of somebody's light, then, you know, when you are the man, that means you are the fire, you are the light. You know what I mean? You have to put it in her. You have to, anyway, y'all know what I'm saying. You gotta, you know, as men, you have to put things into women, mentally and physically, right? And spiritually. You know what I mean? We are projectors. We have to put things in. We have to program. We are the programmers. You have to program your woman. Not negatively. Now, you know, I'm not talking about negative or doing something deceitful, but just, you know, making it plain and clear to her about who and what she is. You know what I mean? Like, her to develop her own connection with whatever we consider spirit to be. And everybody has their own way to connect. All right. Can movies be spiritually helpful? Or is movies a sort of programming? Do you ever look into, let me start that sentence over. Do you ever look into dipping meanings into certain movies? Now, so let me answer that. Can movies be spiritually helpful? Yes, if you understand the symbolism. If you are an occultist, yes, you can see occultism in every movie. If you are an occultist, if you understand symbolism. But the average person not understanding that, it's a program for them because they don't understand the symbolism. So, you know, as an occultist, when you see some bullshit in the movie, you're like, oh, they're trying to program you with this idea. Or when you see some real shit in the movie, you can notice it. But it requires you to be an occultist to be able to have that spiritual insight to decode the movies. Like I said, going beyond movies like The Matrix. You know, again, I always say, I enjoyed the movie Dark City more than The Matrix. Even though The Matrix was more mainstream, I enjoy Dark City because Dark City was a lot darker. To me, Dark City showed the flat earth back in 1998, 1999, before anybody was even talking about a fucking flat earth. They showed a flat earth in Dark City. But, you know, that's for, you know, anybody who's into that. You will have to see the movie for yourself. But to answer your question, yes, you can definitely get spiritual insight from movies if you understand the symbolism. So you have to study symbols. Study symbols. This is why we study. We study so that we can see things and decode things. This is why we read these books. This is why we watch these YouTube documentaries and study these things. And we putting in this is what I mean by putting in work. You have to become knowledgeable. You have to accumulate information that is factual to you that works for you. So to be wise, you have gathered vast amounts of information and you are applying them to your life. That's what makes you wise, the application of the information that you have gathered. You have to be wise with the information, see what works, see what doesn't work, so on and so forth, right? Let's see, the next generation kid will have that as well, definitely. Do you have any info bloodline and how it relates to the soul group and ascension? I'm trying to understand what you mean by that. I have an idea what I think you mean, but that may not be what you mean. So when you say, do I have any info bloodline? I think do you have any information about bloodlines and how it relates to soul groups and ascension? I think that's what you're trying to say. So to answer that, does your bloodline have anything to do with your ascension and, so on and so forth? And my answer to that is no. No. You may be a part of a bloodline, but you still have to do the work. So this is my holy thing. I'm not here to make anybody feel special. I'm not here to say that just because you are of a certain bloodline or you come from a certain lineage that you have, you get a pass, or you don't have to do what everybody else out here is doing. So your bloodline is important for yourself. But in terms of your spirituality, in terms of your evolution, you still have to study, you still have to accumulate facts, and you still need to apply those facts regardless of what your bloodline may be. So don't use that as a crutch, whether you got the holy or the royal bloodline or you just a regular motherfucker out here with a 9 to 5. Don't get it twisted. Everybody still has to put in their work consistently on a daily basis in order to cultivate their minds and their spirit. You don't get to find a shortcut out of it. Trust me, if I took shortcuts, then I wouldn't be here. I would have ran out of shit to talk about a long time ago. But I'm constantly stuffing my head with information. Literally, the mind has no capacity, so the mind is infinite. So I'm just constantly intaking information. Let's just say I stopped 2 years ago. I just stopped learning. I just stopped, reading books, stopped doing what I was doing, stopped going out and actually going out in the field and getting real life experience. Had I never did any of those things, I wouldn't have shit to talk about because I would have never been through anything. So when y'all see me, and again, I got it documented, so y'all know I'm not making this shit up. It's all documented. So when you see me hitting these streets, that's me doing field research. As a scientist, me going out into these streets doing field research as a scientist for me to discover my own potential. Not to try to go out into the streets and to educate the people, but to discover the secrets within myself, apply those secrets for myself, and then I can go help others after I discover the things I need to discover about myself. It always starts with self. You know what I mean? As we already know, or we should know. All right. Do you know what's the difference between O negative and O positive? I only hear about the negative blood type, and this is what I'm talking about. It's like people just want to feel special. Is there truly a difference between O negative and O positive? I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. Am I a person that researches blood types? No. So I'm not going to try to give you information about a subject that I'm not necessarily skilled in. But what I do know is, regardless of what your blood type is, you still putting in that work. Whether you are royalty or a commoner, you still have the same potential as the royal person being a commoner. It all is dependent on your wisdom and the knowledge that you apply. So it can be somebody with a royal bloodline but stupid as fuck because they didn't have to do anything. Let's just say you was born into royalty. Everything was given to you. You don't have to go through anything. You are taught and trained how to maintain the bloodline and the legacy. You didn't have to go through any hardship, but some people do. So again, just because a person may be financially successful doesn't mean that they don't go through shit. You know what I mean? So again, we're not necessarily trying to big up or lessen anybody. It is what it is. What's up, Brianna? Brianna's in the house. All right, so I definitely encourage, for those who are into bloodlines, feel free to study the subject. You know, but just don't use it as an excuse, like just because you are this or that, that you are not subjected to the same purification as everyone else. You know what I mean? Regardless of what you are. All right, what's up, the Prime Ascension? Let me see. Yeah, see here we go with this. Here we go with this. O negative blood type doesn't have the rhesus monkey gene. I'm O negative. My pregnancies were difficult because of this. So here we go with this monkey shit, right? See, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about, the rhesus monkey and all that, because they say majority of people have Neanderthal blood. See, I know about this. I just don't speak about it because I'm like, I don't. What it does is it makes people feel like they better than, all right, well, I don't got no monkey blood in me, so I'm better. I try to stay away from that because I'm not here to make anybody feel superior. Put the fucking work in, whether you have O negative or O positive, or you don't even have O nothing. You AB blood type, you regular. They don't say nothing about AB. You a motherfucker with AB. You ain't got nothing to do with the O bloodline and all. You ain't got nothing to do with that. You just a regular motherfucker. I'm not talking about you in particular. Just everybody else. For everybody who don't got that royal bloodline, are you out of luck? Not at all. Not at all. It's more so, it's more physical than anything else. Like, to me, your blood type just determines who you are attracted to, because it's based on genes. For example, we are more so attracted to people who, if we have kids with them, our kids will be immune to more diseases. What do I mean? So let's just say you are immune to a certain amount of diseases or certain types of diseases, and the person you are attracted to is going to be immune to other type of diseases. So when y'all mate, the child is going to have both of the chromosomes from both parents, so that makes that child immune to everything you are immune to and everything that the other parent is immune to. So that's truly why people procreate, and that's what truly attracts people to each other. Is based on the blood. So yes, the blood is very important because that's what makes you attracted to it. Someone else, they're looking at, is my lineage going to survive? Right? They're looking at, all right, if I have a child with this person, is this child going to be strong or weak? See, this is what's going on a subconscious level, on a primitive level. So we think, oh, we attracted to people because, oh, I just like big lips or big ass or whatever. It ain't got nothing to do with that. It's all about the connections that are formed when you guys procreate. That's what the initial attraction is. Oh, this is the person that I can procreate with and have a child that is more powerful than both of us, so that it can continue the bloodline. That's truly what attracts people to each other. But again, like I said, this is not to make people feel special. Put the fucking work in. Do the research. You know what I mean? And you come to your own conclusion. Be that motherfucker. I want to see some regular motherfuckers. Where the people with the A blood type, the B blood type, and the AB. Some regular motherfuckers who don't feel superior. You know, motherfuckers, you don't hear nothing special about these bloods. They just, whatever. But when you go to that O and that O positive and O negative, now we start losing our minds. So let's just stay focused. That's all I'm saying. Let's just stay focused. That's all I'm saying. All right. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Jay Flower. Do you ever have those moments when you are gaining a ton of spiritual information and having spiritual experiences, but it just stops for weeks, like highs and lows of spiritual progression? Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. That's what you know what I mean. Absolutely, you absolutely. Some days, like just today, I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna talk about? This happens every day. I make a video. I have to think about what I'm talking, what the subject is going to be, and sometimes I don't come up with anything. I can spend hours thinking about what the fuck I'm going to talk about. Don't come up with anything. It just hit the record button, and now just like today, we done been live for almost an hour, and I didn't even know what the fuck I was going to talk about. You see, the title of the video is Q&A, so I didn't even have a title of the video, but I just started talking about what was coming to me. You know, so that's why we was talking about this. That's everybody. You're gonna have some times where you're super tapped in. You're gonna have times where you're not tapped in. So let me grab my notebook and let me show you what I mean. Let me show you what I mean, right? Let me show you what I mean. One second. Let me show you what I mean. All right. So this is my notebook. Notes. This is from a channel, a single channel. You see 555 and you see 666. I know it may be backwards, so don't, but you see this is 555 to 666. So when I channel, I'll be chanting 555, 666, 777, 888, 999, 111, 222, 333, 444. You know what I mean? Tapping into the intelligence of the numbers. So when I tap into the intelligence of the numbers, I'll write it down. See, this is all the stuff that be going around in my brain, just be too much. Like I need to write things down. It'd be too much going through my head, so I need to write it down. But do I do this on a daily basis? No. Absolutely. There's some things that just come straight from the head. But no, am I super tapped in spiritually on a daily basis? Absolutely not. But if I'm studying on a daily basis, most of the time when I'm studying something, it's going to trigger something else. And when it triggers something else, and that, I can tap in like, oh shit, that, I didn't know that was connected with that. Then that sparks something. Oh, that's connected with that. That's connected with that. Then, it's fun time when that happens. When those neurons start to activate and connect, it's a good time. It's a good day that day. But yes, there are definitely times where, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to smoke weed all day and fucking fry my brain cells. I have those days too. It's about to fry my fucking brain cells. But then it's like I can't make a habit of that, of course. So then I get my shit back together the next day. I'm like, all right, I didn't do nothing today. Let's get back to it. All right. When am I going to talk about the fairies again? I know what you're talking about, 305. I tried to talk about those fairies and I got cut. Like, no, shut the, you know what I mean? The spirit came over me and I wasn't allowed to speak about it. Why? I don't know. Why? I don't know. Again, y'all see, maybe shit is just too real. Maybe shit, I can guarantee nobody else talking about this shit. This honestly. Who else is gonna tell you about what the fuck they're doing in real time? How perverted their mind is, right? You know what I mean? Because as you see, everybody who's been watching, my mind is super perverted, but I fuse it with the spirituality to make it holistic. So now it ain't just a motherfucker talking about dick and pussy. We talking about tantra and sex magic, right? Just to put things into context, That's just the Scorpio. The mysticism and the cardinal reality. So with the fairies, you know what I mean? I would love to talk about it, but if I get choked up, I'm like, some things are just not supposed to be revealed to the public. I don't fucking care. I'll reveal all the secrets, but it's a hierarchy, as they say. If a motherfucker is able to stop my black ass, like, yo, shut the fuck up, that means I gotta submit. I'm like, all right, goddamn it, it ain't for the public. Like I've told the story to people in private. People who have spoken to me in private, all the secret shit. But there's just certain things that I'm just not able to speak about in public for whatever reason. It just maybe not. Some things are just not meant for the public, right? So that just may have been one of the moments where it's normal to me. This is things that happen to me on a daily basis. Spirituality is a part of my life. It happens on a daily basis. So I can literally talk about every day and all the spirituality. However, that does not mean that everything is supposed to be revealed to the public. Why? Because the information can get taken out of context, and people think it's okay to do something that's not okay. That's all that is. So to me, that's what I think happened is me revealing that information. Somebody's gonna take that information and start doing some stupid ass shit with it. So like, yeah, keep it on the low. Keep it on the low, cause yeah, there are some stupid motherfuckers out here who take information and they just do their own shit. Then it creates a lot of misfortunes. There we go. It creates a lot of misfortunes. People trying to be cardinal and not be spiritual. Anyway, that's what I think it is. That's my opinion. Got any information on what is this? I have no idea what that is. In Mother Nature, well, which one? I have no idea. Is that a deity that you're talking about, Raw Light? Are you talking about a deity? I'm not sure. But you know, just clarify your statement, Raleigh, so I can answer the question. Let me see. As a Scorpio, I love immersing myself in spiritual experiences. I feel imbalanced when I don't have access to the dream world like I was a few weeks ago. Yeah, definitely. As a Scorpio, we need the mysticism in our life because that is a part of our being. You know what I mean? So mysticism is a part of life. And when you're not dreaming, when you're not having a spiritual experience, especially as a water sign, you're going to feel incomplete because that is our world. We rule the mystic realms. That's who and what we are, right? All right. So we're gonna get up out of here shortly. Hold on. Yeah, let me stop doing that. Keep my finger out of the camera. All right. What video were I talking about the fairies? No, I tried to talk about the fairies in the video. I attempted, then I got stopped. So I actually didn't talk about the fairies. I didn't talk, I got stopped. I was just gonna, again, you know. To me, I'm like, what is the big deal? But it ain't about me. It's bigger than me, right? It's bigger than me. Things that are small to me may be big to somebody else. So it may have been one of my ancestors. It may have been one of my spirit guides. Animal told him somebody choked my ass. I'm like, yo, shut the fuck up. Then that's why I apply. I'm like, you know what? I'm not supposed to say this. You know what I mean? I just took heed. Why that is, who the fuck knows? You know? But in private, anything goes. That's all I'm gonna say. In private, anything goes. But in public, we gotta, you know, some shit has to be regulated. Unfortunately, because there's just a lot of stupid motherfuckers out here who will, you know, again, misuse the information. All right, like Bigfoot, you know, who human borrowed DNA from. All right, I don't know what you're talking about, Raleigh. Who the fuck borrowed DNA from a Bigfoot? I don't know what you're talking about, bro. We don't come from this. We don't come from this earth. So how are we borrowing DNA and we don't even originate on this planet? What are you talking about, man? Not nothing going towards you personally. You know what I mean? But you know, just that thought, like, yo, we're not from this planet. So how are we fused with monkeys or Bigfoots? We're not from here. Now, yes, there are people who are from here. There are people who came after, but that's a whole nother story. It's a whole nother story, but that's my perspective. We ain't from here, so we ain't mixed with anything. We just pure spirit, pure ether. Do Virgos tend to be drawn to the dark side? Absolutely, because that's just the earth sign, any earth sign, Virgo, Capricorn, or what's the Taurus? There we go. Yes, because that's just earth energy is negative energy, feminine energy. So whatever we consider dark, feminine energy, yin energy. So yes, Virgo being a earth sign, yes, it's definitely, because Virgo is like the sixth house. Virgo is the sixth house, and that's the house of enemies. That's the sixth house is the house of enemies. Motherfuckers who oppose you. So Virgo teaches you the art of war, really. So definitely, so Virgo is like, yo, this is how you deal with your enemies. Virgo teaches the secrets of that. Because, you know, again, everybody got enemies, whether you want to have them or not. People who, you know, don't like you for whatever reason, who will try to, you know, slow down your progress instead of building up their own progress. But, you know, that's what I mean. There are people who hate on other people instead of building themselves up. They rather hate you, pull you down instead of building themselves up. So since we have people like that, then, you know, certain information has to stay secret. So yes, just to answer your question. The darkest side of spirituality, I would say spirituality really doesn't have a dark side. It's just negative and positive energy. People just place an emphasis on the dark side, you know, because they're just obsessed with, you know, darkness and, you know, sex and just a cardinal reality. They have an obsession with, you know what I mean? The darker something is, they want to get into it. Oh, if it's darker, we about to be sacrificing some shit? I want to get with that instead of just realizing, it ain't about that. It's about being an alchemist, about being a mathematician, about being a scientist. We're not about to go nowhere sacrificing no goats and no lambs and no babies. We ain't going that far. Have people went that far before? Absolutely, but it's not necessary. You can do it, but it's not necessary. Plus, it comes with a lot of consequences that you really don't want to deal with. So let's not even go in that realm of what these earthly beings do. This is what they have to do because they don't have energy. When you are not connected to spirit, when you are not connected to the ether, now you have to pull energy from another source. They don't have the internal soul flaming that we have. So they got to do all this craziness because they can't pull from the soul force. That's the difference. When you have a soul, you can pour from the soul force. You don't have to do all this crazy shit that these other motherfuckers is out here doing because you have an internal abundance while they are empty and they have a void that they're trying to fill. Again, watch the movie Dark City. It explains all this shit. They were trying to find the soul in the movie. For those who just don't understand, the purpose of the Dark City movie, it was a group of beings were trying to discover the soul and they could not find it because it's not physical. Anyway, you know, maybe that's a little bit too much. Watch the movie The Dark City. If you truly want to understand occultism, you got to see through the symbolism. Now, yes, you can watch the movie and not understand any of this and enjoy the movie, but for those who watch my videos, when you watch Dark City, you're going to see something that other people don't see. You know, it is what it is. So what's the fire sign energy? What do you mean? Oh, well, I guess if you're talking about the element, it's masculine. The fire sign is masculine. So fire and wind signs are masculine. Water and earth signs are feminine. That's why they get along. Fire and wind signs or air signs get along. Water and earth signs get along because water and earth is feminine. Fire and air is masculine. Right? So that's why they get along. But then, you know, you got the contrast. Can fire get along with earth? Yes. Can fire get along with water? Yes. And vice versa. It's all about alchemy. That's why I encourage everybody. There's no need to have favorites. Oh, I'm a Scorpio, so I need to be with another Scorpio, or I need to be with a Cancer, or I need to be with a Earth sign. No, you can be with any sign you want to be. It's about alchemy. So let's just say you are a water sign, you are attracted to a fire sign. You don't look at that as, oh, we're incompatible. You look at that as, oh, it's going to be some conflict, but that conflict, something is going to grow from that. We're going to discover things about each other that we didn't know because you create a conflict. The water and fire create a conflict, but that conflict or that sexual tension can build into miraculous things. So that's what I mean. We don't need to focus on who, just because the zodiac says this or just because astrology says this, we don't have to limit ourselves to that perspective. You can be with any sign. You can be any sign and be with any sign if you apply your mind. You know what I mean? Now, yes, you're going to get along with other people better than other people. Yes, but that does not mean that we can't apply that alchemy. All right. Know anything about pole shifts and what will happen if it hasn't already? He's basically just talking about just the earth isn't stable. That people think, you know, we talk about the flat earth, right? But the earth is not flat or round. The earth changes shape continuously. People don't understand that, right? The earth can be flat or round depending on what stage it is in. Sometimes the world is round or appears to be round. Sometimes it's flat, depending on what's going on with the earth. So the earth actually changes shape. It is not a stagnant shape. So that's what it is, you know. So that's what the pole shifts is. This is the earth changes by itself. So the energy changes as the earth changes, as the stars rotate. Everything is connected, as above, so below, right? All right. Dream Love, can you speak about soul's life scripts? Sure, why not? Basically, we all come here with a soul purpose. We all come here with a soul purpose. We all come here with, you can say your soul is here for a reason, and it really don't have nothing to do with the planet. See, again, let's stop mysticizing, not mysticizing, but what's the word I'm looking for? Let's stop making this shit like a Disney movie. What I mean by that is everybody feels like they're special. Well, I'm here for a higher purpose. Of course you are, motherfucker. to connect with your higher self. Anyway, so yes, we all have a soul mission, which really has nothing to do with other people. You do not fulfill your soul mission by making the world a better place. Let's just be clear about that. Changing the world is not fulfilling your soul purpose. That is, your soul does not care about the fucking world. Your soul does not care about all these ignorant people who don't give a fuck about what you're talking about or who you are. The soul's purpose is an internal thing. It's nothing to do with the world. So separate the soul mission from the world. The world's evolution has nothing to do. They don't mix. Again, like I said in yesterday's video, your soul may just want to be a crackhead or a drug addict, but you feel like you have to be wealthy in this lifetime, so you spend your whole life trying to accumulate wealth, but was never happy because you never got a chance to rest because you're trying to build wealth, versus the drug addict who just stays high all day, but internally they're at peace, they're in heaven. So who really won? Who's really truly living life to the fullest? Just because you got a bunch of money, you can fly anywhere on the planet, versus the drug addict who like, I don't need to go anywhere. I need to fulfill myself internally, so I'm going to take these drugs. But the wealthy person needs to travel all around the world, do business with all these people, do this, because they feel like that's what they have to do. So it all depends on your perspective. So your soul's mission may be something that on a human level, you feel like, yo, why would I even want to do that? But the soul is not logical. The soul isn't telling you, go work this 9 to 5 so you can pay your rent and take care of your family. That's just basic human shit. That has nothing to do with the soul. Your soul is your creative aspects. What are you going to do after that? The bills is paid, the kids are fed. Now what? And majority of people don't have an answer for the now what. Once they have satisfied their basic necessities, then the question like, what are you going to do now? The rent is paid. What are you going to do? They don't have an answer for it. So you just have to ask yourself, when you fulfill your basic necessities, what are you going to do after you are fulfilled? You know, so there you go. And that's where your soul's life script comes in, after you satisfy your humanly cravings or sensations. All right. Would you be able to perform Akashic readings? Yes. Again, I don't advertise everything I do, because it's like, to me, it's just like everybody else is already doing that shit, right? Give me this soul reading, give me this reading, give me that reading. It's like, I can do all that shit, but I just don't advertise it. So, yeah. Trust me, I can do everything. When it comes to spirituality, I can do it all. But it's like, I'm not really trying to build my name off of what I can do, you know, with the little tarot cards or with astrology. It's like, it's just this is a part of a grander scheme. So yes. You know, Akashic readings, any reading that you can think of, I can do it. I just don't. I'm like, I ain't just trying to extract money like that. I'm like, yo, let me open up more money resources instead of I can do this, I can do that. I'm like, So that's just not my agenda. I can do it, but does that fulfill my soul to give people Akashic readings? No. I'm just being real. That doesn't necessarily fulfill my soul. Now, I'll do it. Again, you know what I mean? You come with the proper cake. Sure. You want to conduct business? Sure. You know what I mean? It is what it is. So I'm not against it. Like I said, I don't necessarily advertise it, because that's not necessarily the direction I'm trying to go. Even though I can do it, because I just feel like it's already been done. I'm trying to do some fly shit. It ain't been done before. That's my whole thing. So that's why I focus more on the occult than just mysticism and astral traveling and all that. Because I know most people ain't out here astral traveling, discovering secrets that the world has not discovered yet. Most people are not doing that. But I know there's very, very, very few people who's on that level or who strives to be on that level. And those are the people that, you know, those are the people that matter to me. Those who I would consider the equal, like they can do exactly what I can do, just in their own way, because they have put the work in. You know, it's 10 of those motherfuckers. 10 of those, you don't need nothing else. You don't need nothing else. 10 enlightened people who know exactly who and what they are, the master healers, the master builders, and the master teachers. You got 10 of these motherfuckers. You know, you can change the world with 10 minds. It don't take. All this starts with one person, right? Starts with one person. How do you know what your soul purpose truly is? What do you truly desire? You ask your heart. Ask your heart. The soul is connected to the heart. You ask your heart. What do I truly desire? What truly fulfills me? You have to ask yourself those questions, and you have to listen to your heart, because your heart will let you know. You know what I mean? Your heart's going to let you know what fulfills me. What do I want to do? What sets my soul on fire? What sets my soul on fire? You have to ask yourself that. That's your soul purpose, the thing that sets your soul on fire. All right. We almost out of here. Almost. Hold on. My bad. Let me see. What else we got? If we are not from this earth, where are we truly from? Watch my videos on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. The Emerald Tablets of Thoth, we talked all about the soul and who we really are. Watch the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. So we talked all about the soul. So if you want to know anything about the soul, watch my videos I did entitled Emerald Tablets of Thoth. So you're going to hear directly from Thoth himself. For those who don't know, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth is documents, not documents like paper, but stones, like the emerald tablets, the emerald stones. But it was written by Thoth himself, a deity. Right? Now, people are like, oh, yeah, sure, right? Sure. But once you read these documents, then you know it to be true. So read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth in its completion. Then you will know who you are, where you from, all that. It's easy shit, right? You ain't got to read 1,000 books, just read one. And you will understand those 1,000 books. Just reading that one book. Read the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. You really don't need to. That's going to tell you everything. Everything is in there. And it's a short read. It's like 100 pages or some shit. You know what I mean? It's not something that's going to take you 2 years to get through either. All right. Could I talk more about the Master Builder? Well, I did a video called Master Number 22. So I did a whole video on the Master Builder. So you just have to check that out, bro. Did a whole video on it. You know, that's why I encourage you. I know there's a lot of information on this channel. And it's hours and hours. I understand that. I understand everybody does not have time to filter through all this information on this channel. But I can guarantee you, any question that you can pose has already been answered. But I will continue to answer them because, again, I understand everybody don't have the time to shift through all this endless hours of information. So that's why I continue to do videos. You know, for those who just may not like, yo, I just don't have time to watch a 3-hour video. No problem. We can get straight to the point. So that's why I do the Q&A. The Q&A is to get straight to the point for those who just may not have time to shift through those endless hours of information. Because I understand people got other shit to do. But this is why I do the videos. For everybody who got other shit to do, you ain't got time to hit the books, you ain't got time to do your studies, that's what I'm here for. Because I have the time to do these things, so I utilize my time constructively, and I can, you know, give you the information so that you can, without having to read 1,000 books, you get the point. You know what I mean? That's the whole point. It's like a shortcut, but not really a shortcut. All right. What books am I currently reading? What is the name of that book? I got mad books. I got the Pombagira book. I got the Ishu book. EXU, Pombagira, Pombagira. I'm reading both of those books. I'm reading a Paulo Mayombe book. A book about Paulo Mayombe. What else am I reading? I'm reading mad joints. Cause I got mad joints on Kindle. I'll be utilizing that Kindle like crazy. I got like 10 books. What else I got? You know, and then I got the PDFs on the computer and all. I got hundreds of books. Mad joints. What am I reading? Cause I just downloaded some books. I'm reading some Malachi Z. York books. I'm reading all that shit, man. I read everything. I'm reading, what is it? The Theology of Time by Elijah Muhammad. I got mad joints. I may need to show y'all my book collection. You know, it is what it is. So I mean, just anything that concerns us. When I say us, original people, soulful people, anything that's going to help us to understand who and what we are, purpose, all that stuff, right? So all real shit. I'm reading anything real. I'm reading it. Anything that concerns the occult, I'm reading it. Real. The coming of a new age. Read that book. If you want to know about real energy or pranayama or prana chi, read that. Anyway, I know the books that I recommend, super mathematical and scientific, so everybody's not even going to understand that shit. All right. Do I believe in human cloning? Absolutely. Cloning has been around forever. They've been talking about cloning since, I believe, the 40s and the 50s. You gotta go back to World War II. You know what I mean? I talked about Hitler and all that, so you gotta go back to those days. You know what I mean? Elijah Muhammad, Hitler, you know what I mean? Aleister Crowley type shit, you know? Occult. Study the occult, because this is where all this is coming from. Study the occult, and you're gonna know everything about UFOs, mysticism, all the people and what part they played, and how we got here and where we're going. That's why I study the occult, because the occult, for me, can't speak about nobody else, but for me, the occult brings everything together. So I don't have to study all of these individual topics. This over here, this over here, this over here, this over here, this over here. You just study the occult, and you will learn everything. In the midst of you studying the occult, you will learn everything you need to know about everything. So hold on. Let me see. What else we got? We ended there. I think I made the point. So we get up out of here. I appreciate everybody tuning in, watching. Salute. Put in that motherfucking work. I may show up tomorrow or the day after. But y'all stay tuned. Peace. Hotel. We out this bitch.